Welcome to our channel. The JonBenet Ramsey case has rocked America for nearly 3 decades, leaving behind a trail of secrets, misunderstandings, and fiercely debated theories. A 6-year-old girl was found missing in her own home, along with a strange ransom note and the image of a perfect family shattered in an instant. This is no ordinary story. While many argued and pointed fingers across dinner tables, the truth was always there, hidden in plain sight, obscured by investigative mistakes and the noise of media frenzy. Now, a new and shocking piece of evidence has been uncovered, one that could finally shed light on this case and reveal a much darker, more complex side than anyone ever imagined. Is this the conclusion everyone has been waiting for? Or just the beginning of an even deeper mystery? Get ready, because what's about to be revealed might just send shivers down your spine. What do you think? If you believe the truth is finally close, type 1 in the comments. If you're still unsure, drop a 0, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss what's coming next. Let's uncover the truth together, starting now. The mystery of the JonBenet Ramsey case has finally been solved. For a long time, everyone thought the JonBenet Ramsey case would never be solved. People only guessed and argued endlessly, while the investigators seemed to be going in circles. Many wondered who could be involved in such a tragic event. Years passed, and the case gradually went cold. However, everything began to change thanks to advancements in science and technology. In the 1990s, when the incident occurred, DNA science was not as developed as it is today. At that time, the police collected some small DNA samples from the victim's clothing and under her fingernails. They knew the DNA belonged to an unidentified man, but could not precisely determine who he was. The DNA samples at that time were too limited, and the testing techniques were not sophisticated enough to provide clear results, resulting in very little information for the police and making the investigation difficult. However, over time, technology has continuously improved. Experts discovered ways to extract more information from tiny DNA fragments. Among these, the genetic genealogy method was a breakthrough. This method is based on searching for relatives through family trees and DNA samples that people upload to websites to trace their ancestral origins. When someone wants to learn about their lineage, they often submit their DNA samples to testing companies. Even if the suspect did not submit a DNA sample, their relatives might have done so. By comparing the DNA of these relatives, investigators can gradually build a large family tree, identify the lineage, and narrow down the search until they find a matching individual. By 2024, the police decided to apply this method to the JonBenet case, collaborating with Parabon Nanolabs, a company specializing in solving cold cases using advanced DNA technology. Thanks to this, they were able to build a more complete new DNA profile and make it public on popular DNA websites. They found some distant relatives, though not close family members like siblings, but this was an important clue. Next, experts and police began constructing family trees, searching through old records, birth certificates, marriage licenses, and even social media posts. After months of meticulous work, they finally discovered a matching man. This man was about 62 years old in 2024, and in 1996 he was 34 years old, living only about 2 miles from the Ramsey family home. He worked for a catering company that often organized events in the Ramsey neighborhood, including a party near their house during Christmas. When the long-sought suspect was identified, many new questions arose. So what new evidence helped the police link him to that tragic event? Let's explore further. The mysterious suspect has finally been found. This man had never before been considered a suspect. No one thought of him because his records only showed minor offenses related to theft and fraud, none involving violent behavior. Therefore, the police had never contacted or questioned him. After the incident, he left Colorado and moved through Arizona, Nevada, Texas, and then Washington State, possibly to start a new life or to avoid attention. The police secretly collected his DNA samples from discarded items such as coffee cups and cigarette butts. The test results showed that this DNA perfectly matched the samples taken from JonBenét's clothing. The probability of this being a mistake is nearly zero. During the search of his home and storage units, the police discovered additional notable evidence. An old jacket from the 1990s contained fabric fibers matching those found on the victim's clothing. They also re-examined the ransom note and, using new handwriting analysis software, discovered many similarities between the handwriting and samples from this man's old work records. It is still unclear whether he ever knew the Ramsey family personally. He might have only known them through nearby work or by attending an event in the neighborhood. One hypothesis is that he knew the family would leave their home after Christmas and planned to take advantage of the opportunity. Before officially proceeding with legal actions, the investigation team is rushing to re-examine all the evidence to ensure everything is accurate and complete. After many years of waiting and much sorrow, this news has brought new hope to the JonBenet family. The fateful day and the mistakes in the investigation, December 26, 1996. The day JonBenet disappeared shocked the world and completely changed the life of her family. On the cold morning right after Christmas, Patsy Ramsey, JonBenet's mother, discovered a long, strange, handwritten ransom note on the stairs inside their large home. Unlike typical ransom notes, this letter was 2.5 pages long and contained many specific details demanding exactly $118,000, nearly equal to the annual bonus of Mr. John Ramsey, JonBenet's father. This made everyone suspect that the letter might not have been written by an outsider. As soon as she read the letter, Mrs. Patsy realized her daughter was missing. She immediately called the police in a state of worry and confusion. However, when the police arrived, they thought it was a simple kidnapping case, so they did not treat the entire house as a crime scene, but only sealed off JonBenet's room. This allowed many family members and friends to move freely around the house, causing the loss of many important clues. On the same day, Mr. John Ramsey found his daughter in the basement. The little girl was only 6 years old. The investigation into the case then faced numerous difficulties and serious mistakes. One of these was interviewing Mr. and Mrs. Ramsey at the same time instead of separately, even though investigators usually do this to prevent them from influencing each other's statements. The movement of the crime scene also resulted in the loss of many important pieces of evidence that could have helped clarify the sequence of events. The ransom note was another mysterious point. It was written on paper readily available in the house, leading many to suspect that a family member might have been the author. Handwriting experts could not reach a consensus on who wrote the letter. Additionally, fibers from the tape found on JonBenet matched fibers from Mrs. Patsy's clothing, raising many questions. There was no sign of anyone breaking into the house, and there had never been any calls or any actions from the kidnapper demanding ransom. In 1998, DNA test results confirmed that the DNA found on JonBenet's clothing did not match any member of the Ramsey family. This discovery sparked even more controversy. The presence of unknown DNA on JonBenet's clothes added to the confusion in the investigation. Although the grand jury once wanted to indict her parents, the district attorney decided there was not enough evidence to charge them. As a result, no one was officially accused in the case. By 2003, new DNA tests once again confirmed the presence of an unidentified male's DNA on JonBenét's clothing, and this sample did not match any family member or known suspect. Afterwards, the police publicly apologized to JonBenét's parents and cleared them of all legal suspicion. The Ramsey family also sued several media outlets for false accusations in an effort to restore their reputation. Many believe that if the crime scene had been properly secured from the beginning and modern DNA testing technology had been used earlier, the real culprit might have been identified and the mystery surrounding JonBenét's death could have been solved. Amid all the theories and questions about that fateful night, who exactly was JonBenet Ramsey? For nearly 30 years, people have speculated and proposed numerous theories about the real culprit. Burke Ramsey. JonBenét's older brother, who was only 9 years old when she went missing, has also been the subject of much speculation. Burke remained silent before the media for many years, not uttering a single word. Because of this, many people constructed their own theories about him, even though Burke was never considered a suspect or formally charged. Recently, after 28 years, Burke decided to speak out. Now in his late 30s, he shared about the major changes in his life following his sister's passing. Burke described JonBenet as an innocent little girl who always brought joy and light to the family. He also spoke about the difficulties of growing up amid countless rumors and blame cast upon his family. Burke opened up about the deep sorrow he has endured and how it continues to affect his life today. That his parents were interviewed together instead of separately a crucial step to ensure objectivity. He still doesn't understand the ransom note and feels very frustrated that no one knows for sure who wrote it. Burke supports the use of modern DNA technology to re-examine all the evidence, hoping to find the final answers. He said that his greatest wish is justice for his sister, not only to protect himself, but also to bring peace to the family and help people understand the truth. Burke also defended his parents, saying that they had suffered immense emotional pressure and didn't know how to handle such a tragic situation. They had to face the loss of their daughter, while also living under constant suspicion from others at the same time. What do you think about this story? If you agree that justice is necessary, leave a number 2 below. But if you think things aren't that simple, comment with the number 5. Don't forget to enjoy the video and support me by hitting subscribe so you won't miss any more meaningful stories. Burke's remarks have drawn public and true crime enthusiasts' renewed attention to the case. Currently, police lawyers and mystery genre fans are discussing this interview, as well as the possibility that new clues might help shed light on the case. Although the interview didn't solve the case, it offered a more personal and deeper perspective on a story filled with theories and speculation. The story of a little girl who always shined before everything that happened. JonBenet was a lively little girl with a radiant smile. She loved children's beauty pageants and had won many titles before she turned 7. JonBenet enjoyed expressing herself on stage, wearing glamorous dresses and sparkling costumes. She attended kindergarten at High Peaks Elementary School in Boulder, where she was just a curious, friendly, and happy child. Her parents always encouraged those interests, and she greatly admired her older brother. JonBenet's father, Mr. John, worked hard to provide her with a full and comfortable life, while her mother, Mrs. Patsy, always supported her daughter's passion for beauty pageants. JonBenet lived in a large home in a safe neighborhood surrounded by love and care. She was known for her flowing golden hair and a radiant smile that could light up any room. For those following the story, all of this only deepens the sorrow over the loss of the little girl and the mystery surrounding her death. Despite the many years that have passed, JonBenet is still remembered as a bright, cheerful child in life, alongside the tragic circumstances of her death. After so many years of pain and waiting, what clues and evidence have actually been found to help explain what happened to JonBenet? Let's continue to follow the story. The puzzling clues and unanswered questions in the JonBenet case. On the day JonBenet was found, Mr. John Ramsey personally rechecked the basement. He confirmed seeing a broken window slightly ajar and a suitcase placed beneath that window. Although the suitcase belonged to the family, he stated that it was usually not kept in that spot. When JonBenet was found, there were many strange and puzzling pieces of evidence in the case. 2 different footprints were discovered at the scene, but no one could explain them. A rope was also found near her bedroom, but it did not belong to the family. Strangely, this rope was never tested, even though it could have contained important clues.
Girls with their nails done.
Outside, although the ground was covered with snow, there were no footprints leading to or away from the house. There was also no sign of forced entry into the home. This led many to wonder how a stranger could have entered the house without leaving any trace. Another curious clue involves Burke the Ramsey family's 9-year-old son. Initially, reports stated that he was asleep when the incident occurred, but later Burke was interviewed by the police. Burke's behavior puzzled investigators who were unsure whether his emotional detachment was a defense mechanism or something more concerning. Additionally, the Ramsey family appeared reluctant to be interviewed separately, which further complicated the investigation. One of the strangest parts of the case is the ransom note left in the house. It appeared that someone had practiced writing it before producing the final version. The letter was signed with the initials SBTC. But no one has ever been able to decipher what those letters stand for. Various suspects. Early on, many suspected that the killer could be a member of the family. Some believed Patsy Ramsey, JonBenet's mother, might have been involved. Others speculated that Burke, JonBenet's brother, may have accidentally caused the incident. However, when handwriting experts analyzed Patsy's writing, they were unable to conclusively determine that she was the author of the ransom note. There is also no solid evidence linking Burke to the case. Another suspect who was mentioned is Bill McReynolds, a man who had dressed up as Santa Claus and visited JonBenet just days before she died. He said he felt very close to the little girl. He even kept some glitter she had given him and expressed a wish for that glitter to be mixed with his ashes after he died. Many people found this strange, but there is no actual evidence that he harmed JonBenet. A man named Gary Oliva was also once considered a suspect. He lived very close to the Ramsey family's home and was later arrested in connection with charges involving inappropriate content. After JonBenet's death, Gary called a friend and confessed that he had hurt a little girl. This caused a lot of public suspicion. However, his DNA did not match the DNA found on JonBenet's body, so he was not charged. Another man named John Mark Carr also confessed to the crime years later. He claimed to have loved JonBenet and even told a reporter that he had struck her with a flashlight. However, when police investigated, they discovered that he was in a different state at the time of the murder, and his DNA did not match the evidence found at the scene, proving he was not the real killer. Later, DNA analysts took a closer look at the evidence. They realized that an unidentified DNA sample found on JonBenet's clothing might have come from the factory where the clothes were made. Sometimes small traces of DNA can stick to new clothing even before it's ever worn. This made the case even more complicated, raising more questions than answers. To this day, JonBenet's case remains unsolved. People around the world still remember her and continue to wonder who the real killer is. Even after all these years, JonBenet's story continues to touch the hearts of many and keeps alive the hope that one day the truth will be revealed. Could the unexpected clues that emerged after her death help clear her family's name? Let's dive deeper into another disturbing attack, the investigative mistakes, and the renewed hope for justice. About 9 months after the heartbreaking death of JonBenet Ramsey, another frightening and mysterious incident took place in Boulder, Colorado. A young girl was attacked while sleeping peacefully in her bed, with her mother lying beside her at the time. Everything was supposed to be peaceful on an ordinary evening, but it suddenly turned horrifying. A man had quietly snuck into the house while the little girl was still asleep in her room. He didn't make any loud noises or break anything allowing him to enter without being immediately detected by the girl's mother. The intruder went straight into the girl's room and attacked her while she was still in bed. Her mother was sleeping in another room, but woke up when she heard strange noises. As she stepped out, she saw the man, and he saw her too. Instead of resisting or hiding in the house, the attacker ran quickly and jumped off a balcony or a high platform to escape into the night. The incident left both the mother and the little girl terrified. What's even more astonishing is that the attack happened just a few blocks away from the Ramsey home, very close, practically in the same neighborhood. In fact, the two girls knew each other. They weren't strangers. Both attended the same dance school, shared a love for dancing, and had performed together in local shows before the horrifying events unfolded. Even though the two cases happened close to each other in both time and location and involved two girls who knew each other, the Boulder police did not thoroughly consider the possibility that the incidents might be connected. They didn't compare the DNA samples from both crime scenes or look for similar clues that could link the two cases. Instead, they focused heavily on the Ramsey family from the very beginning, overlooking many other investigative angles. Even worse, in the case of the second girl, police accidentally discarded several crucial pieces of evidence. One of the most valuable items thrown away was the bed sheet where the girl was attacked. That sheet could have held DNA or other critical traces that might have led to the perpetrator. However, since it was discarded, it could not be retested later as forensic technology advanced. This mistake was a serious failure, revealing that the investigation was not handled with proper care or seriousness. In 2008, after years of investigation, the Ramsey family was finally officially cleared in the case of JonBenet. However, by that time, Patsy Ramsey, JonBenet's mother, had already passed away from cancer in 2006. Even though the family was formally exonerated, many members of the public still believe they might have been involved. The case continues to draw attention and spark ongoing debate and controversy. This idea has been deeply ingrained in many people's minds for a long time, not because of solid evidence, but mainly due to rumors and the initial stories spread by the police. The Boulder police focused too much on blaming the Ramsey family and failed to thoroughly examine other evidence or potential suspects. This intense focus created a narrative that many believed, and it is precisely this that caused the family to live under suspicion for many years. After nearly 3 decades, a new investigative team is finally reviewing the JonBenet case. This team consists of experienced experts who are carefully re-examining all the old evidence with the support of modern technology and fresh perspectives, aiming to uncover anything that might have been overlooked before. JonBenet's father, John Ramsey, along with her brother John Andrew, both hope that this new investigation will help reveal the truth and bring justice for the little girl. They believe the real killer is still alive, and that there is still a chance to solve this mystery and finally clear their family's name once and for all. After hearing about another attack, the mistakes made in handling evidence, and the faint hope for justice, what really happened inside the wealthy Ramsey home on that mysterious night. Let's take a deeper look. The wealthy family and the mysterious night. The JonBenet Ramsey case remains one of the most baffling and shocking cases in American history. People often mention and wonder what really happened many years ago. This heartbreaking story involves a young little girl, a very wealthy family, strange clues from the neighbors, and the behavior of the girl's parents that caused public suspicion. In addition, there were conflicts between the local police and the district attorney's office, making the investigation process even more difficult and complicated. JonBenet's father, Mr. John Ramsey, was a successful businessman. Dollar revenues. Thanks to this success, John was awarded the 1995 Entrepreneur of the Year title by the Boulder Chamber of Commerce. This wealth led the Ramsey family to be seen as very affluent, living in a large 3-story mansion in Boulder, Colorado. However, John once shared that he didn't consider himself overly wealthy and always worked hard, never feeling like he truly belonged to the upper class. Nevertheless, many people still thought they were wealthy and somewhat spoiled, and the media didn't hesitate to report the story from this angle. On the night JonBenet went missing, several neighbors heard and saw strange things. One neighbor recounted that she heard an extremely loud and chilling scream, describing it as the longest and most terrifying scream she had ever heard, and she believed the scream came from JonBenet. She was worried, but also believed that the girl's parents would handle things properly since they were home. Another neighbor said he saw a dim light moving in the Ramsey kitchen late at night. This sparked the hypothesis that Burke, JonBenet's older brother, might have argued with his sister over the pineapple she was eating and accidentally hurt or caused an accident involving her. According to this theory, JonBenet's parents later staged the crime scene to cover for their son, making it seem like their home had been broken into. However, these theories fail to explain the presence of an unknown male DNA sample found on JonBenet's clothing. So after learning about the wealthy family and that fateful night, how did the strange behaviors and investigative issues unfold? Let's keep exploring. Suspicious behavior and issues during the investigation. The autopsy report revealed that JonBenet had undigested food in her stomach, possibly fruit or vegetables, most likely pineapple, indicating she had eaten it shortly before her death. On the day her body was found, photos of the house showed a bowl of pineapple with a spoon sitting on the kitchen table. However, both John and Patsy claimed they didn't remember who had placed the bowl there, or whether JonBenet had eaten the pineapple that night. Investigators later reported that Patsy's fingerprints were found on the bowl. Both John and Patsy also exhibited behavior that many found odd immediately after discovering JonBenet was missing. Patsy made a 911 emergency call at around 5:52 a.m. on December 26, 1996. When the police arrived, they noticed that John and Patsy were not standing close together and seemed to avoid each other without comforting one another, something most parents would do when their child goes through a tragic event. When John discovered JonBenet's body in the basement, he carried her upstairs. Many people suspected he did this to hide something, but others believed he was simply a grieving and shocked father trying to help his daughter. In interviews, John said he thought he might be able to save her, or that it was his immediate reaction upon seeing her. Additionally, there were major issues between the Boulder police and the district attorney's office. A lead investigator, A. James Kohler, revealed that the DNA of an unknown man was found on both the rope and the paintbrush pieces of evidence that prosecutor Mary Lacey never publicly mentioned. Kohler explained that a total of 6 distinct DNA samples from unidentified individuals were discovered during testing. Former FBI behavioral analyst Candace DeLong believes that the repeated appearance of the same DNA sample in multiple locations strongly indicates that this DNA most likely belongs to the perpetrator. Meanwhile, the district attorney's DA office sought to consider all possible suspects, including JonBenet's parents, despite lacking strong evidence to charge John and Patsy Ramsey. The conflicts and disagreements between the police and the DA's office have made the case more tangled than ever. This has complicated the progress of the investigation and the search for the truth. Because of numerous mistakes, lost evidence, and conflicting opinions among investigators, the true story of what happened to JonBenet remains an unsolved mystery. The Ramsey family's wealth and public image also played a significant role in how the case was perceived by both the public and the media. Many people believe that their wealth may have helped them avoid being charged or led to them being treated differently. Meanwhile, some believe the Ramsey family was unfairly judged simply because they were wealthy and well-known. In the end, the JonBenet Ramsey case stands as a clear example of the importance of properly handling a crime scene and not rushing to conclusions without solid evidence. It also highlights what can go wrong when police and other law enforcement agencies fail to work together effectively. To this day, the case remains unsolved. Many people still find themselves wondering who caused JonBenet's death and why. Her story serves as a heartbreaking reminder of a young life full of promise that was cut far too short, and of a family left to live with grief and unanswered questions. This case remains one of the most talked about mysteries, and many still hold on to hope that one day the truth will be revealed. What do you think about the mystery surrounding JonBenet Ramsey's death? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found the content both interesting and informative. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. You can click on the next video on the screen to explore more stories about your favorite celebrities. See you in the next video.